Exercise 403, we're still looking at interquartile range, median, things like, range and interquartile range. So, this is question 2. You're going to be asked about interquartile range, but using what sort of, this is number of consumers. This is a cumulative, customers, sorry. This is a cumulative frequency histogram. In other words, it tells you how many altogether. So, a video rental store surveyed a sample of customers on the number of DVDs they borrowed. Obviously, this old question, over the long weekend. This is a cumulative frequency histogram. How many people bought, number of DVDs, 1. How many people bought 1 DVD? Good. How many people, so this is cumulative frequency. 1 or 2 DVDs was 30 people. So if this is 10, yeah, that's 20. But we don't need to know that. We just need to know that 1, 2, or 3 DVDs was 60 people. Do you get it? 1, 2, 3, or 4 DVDs was 100 people. Now 100 is everybody, not 120. 120 is not your total frequency. What is the total frequency? How many people were surveyed? 100, not 120. Graph only goes up to 100. So A, we had 100 people were surveyed. Now, the median. Remember, the median's the halfway mark. We don't go with the graph 100 people, let me put 50 on the left, 50 on the right. We don't do that. Median is at the 50% mark or halfway mark. So we go 50% of 100 or a half of 100 is the 50th score sort of thing. We come across at 50, but I can't come across until I've drawn my line, my polygon. So I have to put in my polygon with a ruler, of course. We need to draw in our cumulative frequency polygon. It's also called an ogive. So this red line, remember from the bottom of the first column to the corner, it is a cumulative frequency polygon. The red line is called an ogive or a cumulative frequency polygon. Okay, ogive or cumulative frequency polygon. So, I know I've got 100 customers. I come across at the halfway mark. So halfway between 50 and 60, which would be about there at halfway between 40 and 60, sorry. Come across at 50, come down. Now, this time you don't have to estimate because you're coming into the number 3 column. It's not like I've got 25 to 29 like before. Anytime you hit in that column, it's the number 3. 3 DVDs. That's the median. So the median number come across at halfway of 50. Do you get it? 100 people, halfway is 50. You can't put 50 to the left, 50 to the right with this, all right? You just come across at the halfway mark on the graph. So this is my median at my halfway mark. So the 50th score happens to be a what? So what's the median? It's not 50, it's 3. It's where you come down on the graph. Next, how many customers borrowed 2 DVDs? What is it? It's this gap. Cumulative frequency. 10 people bought 1 CD, but the end of the 1 and 2 CDs is at 30. So it's 30 minus 10, which is 20 people bought 2 CDs or borrowed. Do you get it? It's that difference. Difference between 10 and 30 is 20. The mode, what's the mode? It's the biggest.
4, most occurring.
Yep. What's this gap?
40.
It's 40. Yes, it's definitely bigger than the rest. Very good. That's all you need to know. That gap is bigger than the rest. This one gap is 30. So this means that 10 people bought 1 CD, 20 people bought 2. You know, what I'm going to do over here, my number of DVDs, number 1, 2, 3, 4. We know that 10 people bought 1. You know, if I put my CF in just to check, 30, isn't the next one 60 and that one's 100? 10 and 20, see, that's my 20. 30 and 30 makes 60. 60 and 40 makes 100. See, it makes sense? What was the mode? It's the score that occurs the most, and the score that occurs the most is the score with the biggest frequency. It's 4. The mode is not 40, it's 4. It's the score that occurs the most. That's why you've got to know the definition. A lot of people will write 40, or it's the score with the highest frequency. And it's that, 40. Now, the interquartile range. You know how we came across at 50% or the halfway mark? Yep. We came across at the halfway mark for median. For the lower quartile, we come across at 25% or a quarter. Q1 is at 25% of 100. Now, if this number here was 50, I'd say 25% of 50. If it was 60, I'd say 25% of 60. Now, we're going to practice some of those down in the next question, which is at a quarter of 100, which is at the 25 mark, the 25th score. And Q3 is at the 75 percentile bit, 75% of 100, or at the 3/4 mark, at the 75th score. Look, I think with this question, because it goes up to 100, it's not really showing you properly how to do it. So we come across at 25th score and 75th score. See, if this is 100%, the median was halfway at 50. I have to now come across at 25. Now that's 30. Be careful. Let me zoom in now. Now, that's 20, that's 40, that's 30, 25's down here somewhere. Got it? Please don't come across at 30. That was my median. This is my Q1. What is my Q1? Which column do I come down in? And I don't need to estimate because it's just a single number in that column. My Q3 is at 75. If that's 60 and 80, that's 70. 75's about there. Come across and come down. What's Q3? It's 4. So, are we good? So we're going to do the past HSC question in a minute. So Q1 is 3. Please don't call it 25. So Q1 equals 3. It's 2. Q1 is 2. Q3 is 4. The interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1, which is 4 minus 2, which is 2. The heights of 400 students were measured. Cumulative frequency. They haven't shown the columns, just the line graph bit. See? They're just showing the line graph bit or the ogive or the polygon. Well, sometimes they do that, all right? But that's okay because you come across and you read down. Even easier to read, actually. It's even better. Now, we do have a continuous scale down the bottom. So when we do come down, we're going to have to read off accurately, all right? Now, the heights of 400 students were measured. The results are displayed in this cumulative frequency polygon, also called an ogive. Use the polygon to estimate the interquartile range. While we're here, let's do the median as well. Where's the median at? You can do 50% or half of. What do you want to do? 50% of 400 is a half of 400. It's at the 200 mark. Is at. I'm going to put median is at. Not that the median is 200. So I go to my graph. Actually, well, let's just work out where they all are first. Q1 is at 25% or a quarter of 400, which is at the 100 mark. And Q3 is located at the 75% mark or the 3/4 of 400, which is 300. So I need to come across, if I want to do median as well, which we may as well practice, we come across, I'm going to zoom in now. I need to come across, here's median, there's Q3, and here is Q1. Now I'm going to zoom in. Here we go. Let's come in for median. Median, you know, is also called Q2, by the way, the second quarter. So come across to the line and read down. or draw down. I'm going to actually go through so you can see it a bit better. Let's go. Where is it? 150 what? Can you see it clearly? What's this scale going up by? Goes up by 2s. So what is the median? 150, 6. Because we go 152, 54, 56, 58, 60, yep. Or you do, the difference between 160 and 150 is 10, and it's divided into 5 spaces. That 10 is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. If you count the gaps, there's 5 gaps. Not lines, gaps, spaces. Okay, median is 156. Q1, we come across at 100. We hit the line. Oh, I can barely see it. I think the line's there. Down there. What are you getting? 132, 34, 36. That's Q1. And Q3, I come across at 300. Oh, what's this one? Yeah, I think it's 172. 172 is Q3. So, are we good? So Q1 is 136. Q3 is 172. Interquartile range is 172 minus 136, which I think is 36. And that tells me about the middle 50% of my data, where it lies. See, that's my middle 50% of data. Okay? Now, will be to finish these, but I'm also going to set you some others. Remember, you can go to Project Maths and click on and check your answers. But in this question here, the number of TVs sold into group data. But so, wait, when you do find your interquartile range, be very careful. What's your 100% here? It's something like 52. I believe that goes up by 1s. So 52 is your 100% mark. It is not 50 and it's not 60. So we've got 52 scores is at 100%. Do you know where you're going to come across at 50%? Do we know? 52 scores. There are 52, not 50, not 60. You need to see where the graph finishes. So, where do I come across the median if I did? A half of what? Half of 52. Where do I come across at Q1? 25% of 52 or a quarter of 52. Do you get it? Q3 I come across higher as well. So I want you to try this and this question, and over here, very similar. Cumulative, you have to draw in the polygon. You have to draw the polygon on and estimate with the next one.